Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer wants you to get your head on straight. In a world gone sideways, having balance and integrity in all areas of life leads to having confidence that breeds clarity. Clarity is essential to living an authentic life, and all the information shared on the Get Your Head On Straight podcast is designed to inspire you to live your life fulfilled. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Get Your Head On Straight with Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer. I'm excited about my guest today. Bogdan is a good friend and he is a very animated man. So I can't wait for you to hear his story about Blair Chiropractic and how that's impacted his life. Welcome to the show.
Dr. Liz, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So I always start the interviews off with a great question of how did we get well connected?
Well, we met through a business networking group called Late Tip, and we hit it off right away. We had just a natural connection immediately because both of us were business owners. And you then introduced to us your chiropractic office, which is amazing, incredible. It's located in Mission Viejo. I recommend everybody who's listening to go and get checked out and become a patient. And so I really love your educational approach to being a chiropractor. And I love the way that you explain everything and you do it in a way where it makes a lot of sense and it's not using language that most people can't understand, especially when it comes to medical things, because I'm not an expert in that field. I don't really know anything about it. So I love how clearly you were explaining what you can do for people.
Right on. When did you have your first Blair correction?
So I had my first Blair correction. I think it was 2 months ago. I think it was like 2 months ago when I came in the very first time.
Right.
Yeah, at first I was a little bit skeptical, and the reason is because I'm from the former Soviet Union, and my parents immigrated to United States, greatest country in the world, in 1992. And I understand the concept of like preventative health, but I felt like, well, it's like my dad was a very strong, tough Russian Soviet man, and so he's like, hey. If I'm not sick, if nothing's going wrong with me, I don't need to go to the doctor. I don't need to do any of that stuff. And I kind of espouse the same kind of mentality, not necessarily in a bad way. It's just how it was. And so when Dr. Liz, you came into my life and you're like, hey, this might be a good idea. I kind of like started thinking about it. Well, sure, let's try it out, because I always want to make something. I want to be better for everything that I'm doing, for my family, for my business, for my church. And one thing that helped me was when you told me that, look, if you're feeling great, that's awesome. But imagine how much better you can be feeling with this Blair correction. And I believed you, and I'm so glad I did.
So what's changed in your life since you've had the correction?
Yeah. So one of the things that really I was having an issues with is because I run a business, I'm pastoring a church, I'm meeting with a lot of people. I have a lot going on in my mind all the time. And I was actually experiencing a ton of headaches. I was experiencing headaches probably 3-4 times a week, like pounding headaches. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night because of a headache, and it's just incredibly uncomfortable. And you take Advil, you take Tylenol, but the headaches keep coming back. And so after we did the Blair correction, I kid you not, I can't remember the last time that I had to wake up in the middle of the night because of a headache. And I directly attribute it to what Dr. Liz, you did for me.
Wow, that's powerful. And I remember when we were doing like an update exam and you said something to the effect of, I had no idea how well I could feel because I didn't know I didn't feel well.
That's right. And that was a really big eye opener for me, because in my field, like for example, when I'm pastoring my church, I always tell my members that the best time to get marriage counseling is not when your marriage is falling apart, but when your marriage is actually doing great, because that's the best time to get preventative care. And so then when you shared with me, think of how much better you can be feeling, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this advice that I myself give to other people.
Correct.
And I loved your caring approach, because usually I'm the one that's kind of like discipling and coaching and mentoring people. But then having you come alongside and truly caring about my well-being, it really made me feel comfortable. And ultimately, when we did get the Blair correction, it was incredible. Like I'm sleeping better, I'm functioning better, I have less anxiety, I have less stress, and I love it. And I recommend it to everyone.
I know you definitely tell everybody you know about it, which is really fun. And not only just because we're in the networking group, but you genuinely believe in the power of Blair upper cervical chiropractic.
Yeah, I do. And the thing is that I grew up in a household where, like, my mom was an eye doctor and my sister is a nurse, and I have a lot of other nurse health practitioners. So it's not like I was wary of doing something like this. What I began to realize is that as you grow in your business and as you grow in whatever professional field that you're in, you need to optimize yourself. And I feel like God created us in a particular way. God created us in a way that he designed our bodies to function. And because of everything that goes on in life, we sometimes drift away from the original design of how our bodies were created. So just like we need, pastors, and we need, mothers and fathers and instructors and coaches and mentors and business entrepreneurs who come alongside of us, who've gone before us, we need the same kind of people in our health world. And so I've enlisted my sister, who helped me get on the proper supplements because she's a nurse. Dr. Liz, you've really, really helped me hone in on my chiropractic health. And I love it. I'm excited. I'm better because of it.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And you're definitely speaking my language as far as just understanding how it's all connected and getting your head on straight, literally having your brain connect to your body so that your brain and body communicate with one another. And like you said, you function, you sleep, you don't have headaches, you don't have back pain. You're able to handle the demands of the busy life we live here in Southern California. Yep. Between running your business and pastoring your church and having a family. It's remarkable. And it's so neat to know that you see the definite correlation between having a Blair correction and having health in all those areas.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't want to ever be somebody who is like stubborn and thinks that, okay, well, I know everything already, because I think maybe we tend to be this way, maybe especially men, maybe we are driven, we are ambitious, and we kind of think like we can fix everything. Every time my wife asks me to do a project around the house, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I can do it. And then I'm like, okay, let me call the professional. So it's like the same kind of thing. So if we love when people give us advice, and when we give advice to other people and they take that advice and then their life turns out for the better, we should do the same thing. Somebody else is a professional. Somebody else has gone through before you and has figured it out. And Dr. Liz, that's what I love about you, is that you have my best interest and your patient's best interest in mind when it comes to what you do. And I love that you're a master of your craft. And it really, really shows when I came into your office and when I've been coming in for the multiple sessions. Experience has been incredible.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for, recognizing the intention that we have to create an environment that's welcoming, that's healing, that's peaceful. Another thing that is really neat is that Bogdan helped me with my practice from a credit card processing perspective, because gosh, that alone is like such a huge expense just from a business owner perspective. And so he came in and he educated me and shared his wisdom in the profession that he's in to help me be able to offer services and have it be less expensive from a business owner perspective. So gosh, I refer everybody I know to him for their credit card processing, because especially in today's world, COVID and such, it's like you can't really do anything with cash anymore.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right. And so I love helping you out with that. I always say that I take the complexity out of credit card processing. And being a business owner myself, I can only understand how much you guys have to go through in terms of the things you have to take care of. So if I can take one thing off of your to-do list and really help you out with that, I'm happy to do so.
I know, that's right. And the cool thing is I referred you to my friends all over the country, and you're able to kind of help anyone virtually from any place. So
that's right.
If there's a doctor listening or anyone that's running a business, Bogdan, how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, all you have to do is go to kipko.biz. That's my last name, KIPKO.biz. So kipko.biz, that's my website. It has my cell phone number on there. I would love to talk to you about your credit card needs.
Yay, that's awesome. So what does it mean to you to live your life in alignment?
Yeah, I think for me, what it means to live my life in alignment, I'm a person of faith. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And I believe to live my life in alignment means to live according to God's precepts and God's principles. And part of that means to understand that your body is a temple. That's what Jesus talked about. And so the Bible talks about this. And so what that means is alignment means I'm aligned in my marriage. I'm aligned in my business. I'm aligned in my church. I'm aligned in my spiritual life. And so I'm not necessarily seeking a balance. I'm seeking a rhythm. And one of the rhythms is having a Blair correction. That's part of your rhythm. If the reason you don't have regular rhythm in your life is because you haven't had this done, you're not functioning the way you should be functioning. And so that's what it means to me, having life in alignment. It's having my health correctly. I love the head on straight. Like, I love that concept. Like,
right.
That everybody needs to do that. And that's what it means for me to live life in alignment, fully living the life God allowed me to live, and allowing people to come into my life who are helping me on that road, not rejecting this kind of help, but embracing it and then sharing it with other people. That's what it means to me to live life in alignment.
I love that. I think we're going to have church, Bogdan.
Come on. We will, for sure.
Wow. You're preaching it, brother. And I love it, because that is exactly the vision God gave for me when he gave me this gift to be able to share with the world. And that's why we started the podcast, was so that other people could listen and understand there might be an issue that you're having that somebody else has experienced, and to be able to share testimony about the power of what he's given us through this Blair Chiropractic is pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story this morning with us, and for being willing to, say the truth and talk about the experiences you've had with Blair Chiropractic and Well Connected.
Yes. Thank you, doctor. It was amazing. I recommend it to everybody, and it was an honor for me to be on your show today.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for listening to Get Your Head On Straight with Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. If you have any questions about Blair Chiropractic, I'd love to answer them and be your chiropractor. You can find me at wellconnectedchiro.com. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to Get Your Head On Straight with Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer. Visit wellconnectedchiro.com for more details from the show blog post, and to learn what Blair Upper Cervical Chiropractic can do for you. To learn more about Dr. Hoefer and her practice, you can find her at Well Connected Chiropractic in Mission Viejo, California, by visiting wellconnectedchiro.com for more information.